Good morning. All right. This is my third take on this video because I kept stumbling and tripping over my words. So I'm going to be very slow to talk. I have a huge day ahead of me today. And today I want to talk about leadership. And what does it take to be a leader? So I was listening to Rascal Radio this morning, and Dan Hawkins was talking about playing the leadership game, right? One of the things that he was talking about is leading by example. That's one of my favorite things to do. And I do that for my children. And I also do that for my employees and the people who I coach is I'm not going to give them um, suggestions on things to do if I haven't done them myself. So it's really, really important I always tell my kids, don't do as I say, do as I do, right? Follow me. Let me be the example for you guys. So one of the things is I'm so sorry. If Dan ever watches this, I keep butchering his name. But Dan Hawkins was talking about that he was an auto mechanic. And unfortunately, when he was doing that, he was getting paid per job. So they have like this system, and depending on what the job is for that car that they're working on, there's an estimated time that how long that job should take. And that's what they get paid to do. So if it says it takes an hour, okay, they get paid for that hour. But if it takes more than that for whatever reason, they still only get paid for that hour. So he said in his line of business back then, in order to really be a leader, was to show other people, hey, we could do this job. We may be able to cut it down in half, and then you're actually getting paid double, right? Um, and make more money. So anyway, so he talks about being a successful leader is you have to define um, of course, playing the leadership game. So you have to define what that is and then track it. So in his job, that little book defined how much he was going to get paid, and he could track it by how long it actually took him to do that job. So one of the things is he tells you to define it. You have to learn to define the game, right? So it's kind of like coming up with that plan of action. And then what are the objectives? So if you don't know what those objectives are, learning those and getting really familiar with those and very comfortable. The other thing he says is to uh, what are the things I need to change to be successful? So um, if you are always like going back to his story of being an auto mechanic, if you're always going over that allotted time and you're not getting paid for that, where can you change to be successful? What can you do? Maybe there's getting all your tools lined up before you even start the job instead of, running back and forth to get a different tool for each different thing. I worked on cars a lot, so it is really nice to be able to have everything lined up before you start the job, because it takes time to go back and get a different tool each time. So of course we're just talking about working on cars right now, but working in your day-to-day life, what can you do to set yourself up for success? One of the things is my favorite thing to do is to have a daily planner. And there's a lot of planners out there, but there may not be one for you. So for instance, I have a calendar, but I have so many things throughout the day that I need to get done. And so if I have just like this little square to write everything, it doesn't work for me. If you've ever gone to like a cosmetologist and getting your hair done, they may have one of those big calendars that open up, and then they have hourly time slots. That worked better for me, but even to take it a little step farther, it worked better for me to have one that was made in 15-minute increments, because I work with clients and sometimes it's only, a 15-minute check-in. So I'm able to write their name down and to go down the list. So the 15-minute increments for me work really, really well. So my suggestion is if you don't find a planner that works for you, even if it's cute and bubbly and colorful is what I tend to go towards, create one. If you can't find one, create one that's going to work for you so that you can be successful. Okay, let's see. The other thing he talked about is tracking. So it's so important for us to track what we do each day. When we have things written down on our planner, we're able to track those items. So if you don't track something, then it feels like you're just wasting time. You can't go back to see all those small little wins that you're making along the way to your goal. Okay, so the other thing he was talking about was what are the important things to track. Some people track things that aren't very important and they're not very productive. So what are those things that what's the outcome, what's the objective, and what's the goal? He was talking about his finances, and he said he wasn't very good at it. And he said when you have to be held accountable and you're showing somebody else your finances, it brings things to a whole different level, right? A whole different ball game. And I could relate to that because people say, well, how much do you make? It's like, why make this? Well, how much goes out? Well, this is how much goes out. Well, where's all that money going out? Like, what are you doing, right? What are you purchasing? What are you buying? What are the unnecessary things that maybe you could do without, that's going out each day? So when people, and this is, I wanted to tell you guys, to have an accountability partner, because if you're working on finances and say you want to earn a certain amount per month, then your expendages is very important. And I can think of so many people right now who are so good at finances. And I have a mastermind team that we talk about finances, and we all say, okay, we want to make X amount of money. And for me, I was like, well, how can I do that? Sometimes having a group of people where you can mastermind with creates new ideas. And so when I'm listening to my mastermind and they're saying, okay, I need to make, we'll just say 10,000 per month. I need to make 10,000 per month. So I have this course coming out. It's X amount of dollars. I need to have so many people take that course. And then I'm working on this, and, I'm charging this amount. So I have to have X amount of people. Well, in my brain, prior to this was like maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe about a year ago, it never dawned on me to do it in that fashion, right? I just say, oh, I have to make this much. I have to make this much. I have to make this much. And just hoping and praying that I could get to that. I didn't have a plan. I was just hoping. So by writing it down on paper and saying, okay, I'm coming up with this course, right? It's, $500, and I want to create, this amount of money. And how many people do I need to have buy my course in order to get that money? So having a plan, it takes the pressure off of you. All right. So that also brings me into our PDCA, our plan, do, check, and adjust. So coming up with a plan, right? I always come up with my plan of action the day before. So I write down all the things I have to do. So then the next day I do all the things I have to do. At the end of the day, I check it like, okay, did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Sometimes I check it off throughout the day because it makes me feel like a rock star. And I was like, I got that done, got that done, got that done. It keeps me motivated. I'm very self-motivated. And then adjust. So if something didn't get done, how come? Why didn't that get adjusted, or why didn't that get done? So I need to adjust it. Maybe I need to forward it to the next day. One of the things being a great leader is being flexible. You have to be flexible. So sometimes we don't get things done. Showing yourself grace and mercy so that you're not so hard on yourself, so you don't lose track, you don't lose sight of your end goal. So one of the things is, for example, I'll use myself. I have 7 children, 3 grandchildren, and 1 on the way. So I have a to-do list, and usually they're, I schedule like a month out. So I kind of know what my month is going to look like between my clients, between work, between all the other things that I'm doing. Unfortunately, I have this little baby coming soon, and I know within now until the middle of December, or well, the due date's December 21st. So any time between now and then, that baby could come and I'm going to need to be there. So it doesn't matter like what might be on my calendar for that day. I'm going to have to adjust. I'm going to have to be flexible. So in order to be a good, successful leader, you have to be flexible, right? And I want you to, I just want to remind you again that you have to give yourself grace and mercy, because if you don't get something done today, it's okay. You can just forward it to the next day and still stay on track. Okay. We talked about getting that planner. I have a planner that I use. I like pen and paper. I like to be able to write it, see it. I use different colors. This is the way my brain works. Some people like Google Sheets or their Google Calendar or something on their computer, which works great if you're in front of your computer all day. Unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. I'm in the field and I'm at home, so I'm kind of in between, and I need something that I could take with me so that if I'm out of the house and I need to get stuff done, I don't forget it because it's on my computer. Um, so that's my little take on leadership, getting a calendar, uh, tracking, defining what you want, tracking that, seeing how far you get to your goal, and then using the PDCA method, the plan, do, check, and adjust. So I hope you guys all have a really great day. Thank you for being with me today, and I will see you next Thursday. I think Pamela will be on tomorrow on for another episode of Acorn Radio. Thank you guys.